Let's take a look at some charts on Ripple from this week's article on Brave New Coin. So looking at top 10 coins by market cap, you wouldn't necessarily expect that there's a bajillion Ripple waiting to be dumped on the market, mainly because it is slow dripped by two entities, Ripple the company and Jed McCaleb. So as I mentioned in several other videos regarding pre-mined coins like BAT, when there's a bajillion of something out there, it's just harder to ADA. It's just harder to support large rises in the market cap over time because they're sold off. They're constantly sold off. There's that constant selling pressure. So unless demand absolutely skyrockets, it's hard to keep those prices up. And any rise in price is unlikely to happen on its own for Ripple, for ADA, for BAT, unless there's some sort of massive fundamental announcement. Because in general, these just follow everything else. They follow the alts, they follow whatever BTC does, they follow the general correlation of the entire market. So if we look at what Ripple has, they have 6.4% of the total supply. Ripple also controls this escrow in that they benefit from the sale of this escrow. So they might say it's automatic and whatever, but at the end of the day, who benefits from the sale of this? It's Ripple. It's not the people holding already in circulation. They don't benefit from supply continually unlocked. Ripple benefits from the sale to USD. They use this for marketing. They use their own holdings for partnerships, and the list goes on and on and on. You know, when you have infinite money, basically, you just continually dumping on the circulation. Why wouldn't you? Who else is going to buy it, right? Looking at transactions per day and fees have come down quite a bit from 2018 to even 2019. On a whole, they aren't free, but they're lower than most coins. Higher than Stellar, but lower than pretty much everything else that has a fee on the chain that isn't free. Transactions per day have kind of fallen even below the multi-month range since January here. If you want to get super bearish, you want to see transactions per day keep falling, even below, this historic range. Anything below 1 million extended over time is a good sign that bearish things are coming for the token itself. Now, Ripple will claim partnerships, they'll claim Ripple net usage, but in general, none of that helps the price of the token. Helps with the hype train, but Libra, something that doesn't exist yet, or any stablecoin, could just as effectively do what Ripple does as a competitor for Swift or as a alternative to Swift. Looking at active addresses in the line here and transaction values, again, nothing too exciting. Any of these pops and drops aren't necessarily organic. They're either spam or one and done, not organic activity, just somebody messing around with the chain or a stress test or something non-important, basically. So in general, active addresses haven't really changed since 2018. And transaction value is unremarkable, definitely at lows, but there's nothing really to comment on there. NVT is deceptively bullish in that it's continued to drop. There's clearly a trend line to the downside here. It's still above 100, which compared to other coins on a relative basis means it's higher than most everything else, except Stellar. The reason I say it's deceptive is because the escrow transactions in and out of the escrow every month are on chain. So I'd expect this to falsely drop the NVT. Maybe not continually over time, so there's something else going on here from transaction value perspective to drop the NVT, because in a vacuum this looks incredibly bullish, right? It's at the NVT is an inverse metric of economic utility, so if it's at basically an all-time low, that means that the market cap hasn't priced in the economic utility on the chain. But there's issues with this for Ripple and many other coins that aren't Bitcoin in that the supply distribution is much different. This is just a look at Google Trends. Similarly to active addresses, they're breaking multi-year lows, so definitely not bullish. With any article, I try to find all the things, right? Is it bullish? Is it bearish? Any news? Anything exciting on chain? Anything out of whack? Really nothing going on the bullish front for Ripple. Now, if I look at the Bitstamp price chart, the first thing that immediately pops out to me is, what the heck's going on here with all this volume, right? Historically at all-time highs for Stamp. The reason this is important is because in general, any volume on Stamp is legit more so than other exchanges. It's not Tether, it's USD. It's not a mix of USD and USDT, it's pure dollars. So my hypothesis is that Jed McCaleb's share of Ripple coins is being sold over time every day, a certain amount based upon some agreed deal, I don't know. And you can say, okay, that's what, 0.06% of total volume per day or whatever, but this is real volume. So if you compare this to all the volume, fake and real, it looks small, but if you compare this to all the real volume, to me, this is a large amount. So even if people are trying to arb this on other exchanges, Jed McCaleb is going to be sitting here every day with his algo or whatever, just selling, selling, selling. Now this might not be Jed McCaleb, but I'm pretty sure it is. So looking at the 50 to 200, this is the Bitfinex long short ratio and RSI VPVR. You can see most of the volume here basically at the current price of 20 cents because most of the volume historically has been here or here. It's had far less volume on this downtrend in general than it has at this exact price. So maybe Ripple's perfectly priced here. This doesn't look bullish from a trend perspective in that it's below the 50, it's below the 200. These are both crossed bearish. The next support pivot's around 0.85. I doubt it goes this low unless the entire market starts making new lows. So again, from the correlation perspective, XRP is safe in that it's probably not going to just fall off the table like Zcash did, but I don't expect this to just randomly be bullish on its own. So on the way up, it's got resistance at 28 cents, resistance at 40 cents, previous local high. Nothing to say about the long short ratio, just kind of flat. And same thing with RSI. It's leaning more bearish, but it's definitely not super bear just on its own looking at it. There's even a mini low time frame head and shoulders here, which is a bearish reversal pattern. I didn't include it in the article, but it's definitely there on the low time frames, as it is with most altcoins right now. Looking at the pitchfork for Ripple, you really can't fit a bullish pitchfork here, even if you tried, because it's very clearly just downtrending. Now you might say, okay, it's above the pitchfork, it's probably invalidated now from a bearish perspective. Typically you see, bearishness, consolidation, a chance at reversal, and then a decision point, right? So we're kind of at that decision point. Clearly it's been sideways, for the past 5-6 months, breaking out of the pitchfork to the upside. So that should invalidate it, although it didn't invalidate it here and retrace the median line. There's probably an argument for some sort of diamond bottom, which is typically a reversal sign here. Didn't include that in the article either, but something to consider. If you're really trying to find bullish arguments for Ripple, those are two things I'd say. It's gone sideways and for a long time, and there's a potential diamond bottom reversal here. But if this doesn't reverse, it really wants to go back to that median line again. That really has been its home since 2018. Looking at the cloud, it actually looks pretty bearish in that it's flirting with dropping below the cloud, which would be a short entry signal. It kind of already did its edge-to-edge retrace mean reversion. So you get this range put in, and then you get a mean reversion. And then from there, the decision is, do we continue? Do we consolidate? Do we reverse, right? All the options in the decision tree. Thus far, it looks like it wants to find bearish momentum and retest lows. Now, based on correlation to Bitcoin and other coins, if everything else is bullish, this is unlikely to sell off on its own. But if Bitcoin does sell off, this will sell off harder. That's just how it typically works. And XRP BTC really looks like it wants to enter basically bearish price discovery, multi-year lows, pre-2018 even. The reason this VPVR looks so skewed is because it's on Poloniex, but not many other exchanges were trading this pair pre-2015. So there's obviously a lot of volume from this here, but I fully expect this either in a wick or some just slow bearish drip to get explored below 2000 sats, probably this year. I mean, this doesn't look bullish. It's a descending triangle breaking to the downside. It's below the 200. There's just no bullish momentum here at all. There isn't a bull div yet even, which is what I look for on volume or RSI. I didn't include that in this chart, but it's not there yet. So it just says there's probably more room for down. It's below this consolidation period. So even if it does find bullish momentum, it's going to have to reconsolidate above 2700 sats. So there's just no way I can slice this that it's a bullish picture right now.